Welcome to 360 Strong Women. Today we're going to be back in business as we do some back stretching and strengthening exercises. I'm going to do some upper ones and mostly some lower lumbar because what I'm hearing from you is my low back hurts all the time. So what can we do to, one, strengthen it, and what can we do to stretch it out and feel better? I'm just going to give you a few exercises today. There are a lot of back exercises you can do. Let's just get you started as we work through this back therapy. The first thing I want to do is just warm up your body a little bit. Make sure that you have a mat, something that's a little sticky like a good yoga mat so that you're not slipping and sliding. The second thing is I want you to have hydration. You can do these therapies without your shoes, or you can put them on if you need more stability. The first thing I want to do is just step side to side, just to open up the vascular system if you haven't done anything yet today. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that button, like, subscribe, share, and ring the bell so that you get all our notifications for how-to tutorials on how to work out, how to stretch, how to keep your body safe, how to lift, how to do cardio, how to do kickboxing, and regular workouts at home, metabolic cardio, strength training, yoga, meditation, all different forms of yoga. Just sweeping my arms up and over just to get that vascular system worked out. And notice that I'm rinsing out my spine as well. That may feel good. Gently, gently crunch side to side while we open up those obliques and the spine, upper back, lower back. Now, one of your exercises we're going to do as a stretch just to get you started, and it works this upper back. So up into the shoulders, up into your neck, across the traps, down into your posture muscle, that rhomboids, and then down those long lats that sometimes get very tight. So what I want you to do is roll those shoulders back, tuck that belly in. Tight core makes for a long, lean body. Apple under the chin. We always want our cervical spine in a neutral position. Remember that we want our head tucked over our shoulders and not sitting out in this plane of motion. So just keep cueing your body, learn the cues, keep doing it so that you have good alignment, which leads to strong, healthy body and good form and good posture. I'm going to take my shoulders and pull them up into my ears like I'm wearing them like earrings. Now, this is not where I want your shoulders to be ever, but we're going to stretch them up, push them down, bring them forward, and then push them back. So you're going to open up your pectorials too. And this is going to feel good if you did my chest workout that's coming out. So up, down, forward, and back. You can also do this from a chair. You don't have to be standing. Down, forward, and back. Two more times. Up, down, forward. See that extension in the spine? And then a little bit of flexion as we open up the pecs. Up, down, forward, and back. And that should feel so good. I'm going to go ahead and take that side body stretch because I want to open up my obliques. Reach long, tall, and lean so I can put space between the vertebrae and the spine, and then do that other side. Now I'm going to hip hinge, apple under the chin, hip hinge at my hip flexors. Soften your knees as much as you need to and find your ragdoll. Remember that you can use yoga blocks. If you have an eye issue or you suffer from vertigo, you may not want to hang your head in inversion. So keep it up here, apple under the chin. Just look down to the end of your mat. Roll the shoulders back. You're still getting this nice stretch up into the lower lumbar. If you can look down, go ahead and do that. If you need a little more, you can grab opposite elbows with opposite hands and then just gently twist side to side. Just opening up that low back before we get into some more stretches and some strength. So I'm going to begin to roll all the way up. Nice long lean, roll the shoulders, roll the elbows, take that big circle, big breath, and exhale that away. The first exercise we're going to do is a deadlift. It's called a good morning. We're doing it as more of a stretch. It's going to be slow, methodical, with purpose, and without any resistance. So these exercises, these therapies that you can do are done without resistance. I'm going to do this catty corner so that you can see the front of my body and the back of my body. I want to be hip width here. Because I'm not in a split stance, to protect this low back, I want you to pull the pit of the belly in and up, really tight, and lift up. Keep this nice and tight, but don't hold your breath. Breathe still. An apple under the chin, nice and neutral. I'm going to roll my shoulders back and stack my scapula. I'm going to hip hinge without dumping my shoulders. So nice flat back, like I'm doing a half lift. And then I'm going to look to the bottom, tap my fingers to the floor. Roll my shoulders back, put my hands on my thighs. Now here's the work. I'm going to stand all the way up. You can cue your body and stand up. This is going to work this lower lumbar plus your glutes plus your hamstrings. So it's called a good morning. Roll those shoulders, apple under the chin, hip hinge. Tap down, lift up, exhale, stand up. Inhale, exhale. Nice, slow, purposeful. I'm going to do this for about 30 seconds. Notice I'm keeping my core nice and tight. Now there are many ways to stretch that lower lumbar. You can bring your knees up to your chest, hang on to a wall, hang on to a chair, and really squeeze in. You can also do this on the floor. We'll get into that another time. But if you did happy hips with me, we did a little bit of that. Standing leg raise, open the hip, then bring the hip to the other side. That's also going to strengthen, stretch your lower lumbar because they're connected. Go ahead, get a sip of water, and then meet me down on your mat for the rest of our stretches. The next exercise we're going to do for low back, for abs and low back. Strong abs, strong back, strong back, strong abs. This is the most crucial exercise that you can do for your low back. So if you are short on time, planks are always the way to go. We're going to do a low plank on our forearms just in case you have a wrist flexor and extensor issue. Think about tufting your abs into your spine and squeezing them tight. We also want to be level, so my shoulders and my glutes are in one plane of motion. So my glutes are not up in the air. I'm going to do this from the side so that you can see from the side, and then we'll do it from the front. I want my shoulder and my elbow and my wrist in alignment. Apple under the chin, I'm looking to the end of my mat. I'm going to tuck my toes out, pull my abs up, and then lower my glutes so they're not up into the air. You're going to keep breathing through. We don't want to hold our breath on planks or any kind of abdominals, but you're working that whole band all the way around. So if you have a low back issue, a lower lumbar issue, my back hurts me all the time, this is the exercise that you want to learn how to do. The question sometimes is, Beth, I can hold myself up even in a low plank for just a few seconds. How beneficial is it? It's still beneficial. Just try to go one more second each time that you do it. Another way that you can start out is not on your knee joints, but up on your quad tendon. So it would look like this. I'm going to land on my quad tendon, so I'm not on my knee joint. Pull the pit of my belly in and up. I can start here, and then when that gets easy, so you can do that a minute, you're going to lift up straight ahead, just tuck the toes under and lift, and then breathe in and out for your plank. We're just doing 30 seconds. You want to be able to work a perfect plank to about a minute, and then after that minute, when it's a perfect alignment and you're breathing and it's okay and you're not dumping everything into your shoulders, you want to start to move in your plank. And just breathe through it. Breathe in and out. And then release. So you can take a nice stretch. This will stretch out your back into child's pose. After you're done with your plank, you can stretch your low back by doing balasana, a child's pose. I've gone through this in a tutorial in some of the yoga videos, so you can check those out. But a nice child's pose will strengthen and lengthen your whole vertebrae from your lower lumbar up into your cervical spine. So it's a really good stretch. The next one we're going to do is still prone. So we were in plank. That was prone, face down. You're just going to, if you're already in your plank position, you're going to then drop down onto your belly, and we're going to do what's called Superman all the way down on my belly. Now, if your low back is sore and you have a debilitating issue, we want to keep your feet tucked on the mat. Hopefully you can see them there, and grounded. You don't want to lift your legs up off the mat. So you can just keep them there and still stretch and strengthen your lower lumbar. We can start in what we call Sphinx pose. So if you're just starting out in this, you're going to bring your elbows right to your rib cage. Thumbs are going to touch, hands are down. Lock your legs into the mat. And then all I'm going to do is lift up as far as I can till I feel a nice stretch. Look straight out. We never want to tilt our head and look up in Sphinx pose. Apple under the chin, neutral neck, and then breathe here, in and out. If you need to take a break, you're just going to lower down. Then lift back up. And you can be in that position to start. So just a nice modified Sphinx. We've got your feet locked down. My hip flexors are locked into the mat. And I'm just lifting up to get that nice stretch in the lower lumbar. So I feel that nice stretch, not pain. Looking to the end of the mat, not lifting and tilting my head in a weird position. And just breathing through that. Go for about 30 seconds. Then, if you can lift your legs, we're going to work right into the Superman. Some of you may need to keep your arms right by your side, shoulder width, but by your side, not in flexion, because you may have a shoulder issue. So it would look like this. I'm going to lift my chest, then lift my hands, then lift my legs, and or keep your legs on the ground. Breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then lower down. Take an inhale. Exhale, lift, lift, lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. lower down. Inhale. Exhale as you lift. Exhale. Exhale. Breathe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lower down. Again, lift up, up, up. Breathe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lower down. Take a big inhale and then repeat that. That's the second way that you can do this. And again, lower lumbar, you can keep your feet tucked if you need to while you're strengthening and stretching that low back until you can get there. It takes time, it takes practice. The more you move, the better your back is going to feel, as long as you're doing the therapies for it. And you'll want to do the other therapies. If you haven't watched the video on rice, mice, and move, you're going to want to check in on that. I know it's a long video, but it has really helpful information. So check in on that. That's going to help with these therapies. The next thing we're going to do is the same thing, Superman, but my arms are going to reach out in front of me. So that's why we get the Superman, like I'm flying. So I'm going to lay down, then I'm going to lift, lift, and lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lower down, lift up, lift, lift, lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lower down, lift, lift, breathe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, come up and then breathe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lower down. Now you can bend your legs here and take them side to side, what we call that nice windshield wiper, and that just kind of stretches out and washes out the hips. From here, I'm going to flip you over into a supine position and we're going to work bridge and pelvic tilts. Now, if you are just starting out, you may need a yoga block to do what we call a modified bridge. I love this, it feels good. So I'm going to lay down in a supine position, meaning that I'm on my spine. My hips and my knees are going to be in alignment. My low back is going to lift up and my hips are going to go right up on that low back area, right onto my block. Now I've got my knees in alignment with my ankles. My shoulders are ground down on my mat. I'm getting a stretch already just by the pressure of sitting on the block. You can then put your triceps into your mat, roll your shoulders, tuck them in, and make what we call robot arms. My apples under my chin, I'm going to look straight up to the ceiling. This is my modified bridge. You can just breathe here for 30 seconds. That as much as you want. Now, you're not just hanging out here. I'm not just hanging here. I'm purposeful. So when I'm on my block, my legs are squeezing in towards each other and my glutes are squeezing together and my abs squeezing to my spine. So I'm not just like hanging in this position. I'm squeezing everything and working the muscles. That's going to help strengthen this low back area. Again, working strong abs, strong back, strong back, strong abs. Then you can do what we call a pelvic tilt. So I'm going to be in my bridge position, tilt my hips, tap them down. Exhale as I lift them up. Inhale as I tap them down. Exhale as I lift them up. Squeeze your legs to the center line of your body. Squeeze your glutes. Bring it down. Tap. Exhale. And then lower down. From here, you may want to bring your knees into your chest. Keep your low back on the ground. Notice I'm going to dorsiflex my toes towards my knees. And I may want to, as I leave my low back on the ground, gently rock side to side into that lower lumbar. You're just going to feel that nice release. So that feels really good. And then I'm going to place my legs back down, knees in alignment with ankles, hips, flexors in neutral position. Follow knees, follow ankles. So always the same cueing there. Then I'm going to come up for a bridge, breathe through it, and hold my 30 seconds. Squeeze, squeeze. Drive your weight into your heels. Squeeze, squeeze. Apple under the chin, look straight up. And then lower down. Again, push your low back into the mat, and you can bring your knees into your chest. Now, if you're used to doing yoga, you can go to Happy Baby from here. If you don't know what Happy Baby is, check in with one of my yoga videos, and you can do that. It will look like this. Remember that when we're in a Happy Baby, oh, that feels good for your low back. You want to drive your knee into your side body and leave your low back on the mat. Too many times I see people trying to extend their legs up and drive their low back up. That's going to hurt your low back. Low back stays on the mat as you stretch. That's the whole purpose of the stretch. So you can rock into that lower lumbar and get a nice release from the stretching. Now we just have a few more stretches that I'm going to go over with you. We have done your good mornings, or basically your standing parallel deadlift. You can do this one-legged deadlifts where you're splitting your stance and doing one leg. You can do that. We've done that in a leg video. The good mornings, though, really help you to keep your hips and your shoulders in alignment. It's a great low back stretch. We have done planks. If you're going to do any of these exercises, my very, very strong suggestion is to work planks, practice planks, get used to doing planks. It's going to strengthen your abs and your back and your back and your abs as a symbiotic relationship, and your back is going to start to feel better. Then we did Superman. So we broke it down into Sphinx,
And then Superman with your arms tight into your body and maybe your legs on the ground, and then Superman with your arms out in flexion. We turned around and we did your basic bridge with assistance by just placing a block up under your hips. And then we did the pelvic tilts, and then we held our bridge. Then we did some minor stretches here. While I'm laying on my back, I'm going to do supine twist for you and simple supine twist. And we'll start with simple supine twist just so for those of you who don't have the length in their legs can start this one first. And then I'm going to flip over and do bird dog. The whole of the goal with your simple supine twist is I'm going to take my arms out to a T, and I want both of my shoulders to remain on the ground. That is the whole of the goal. Once your shoulder starts to lift, you're too far extended over. I'm then going to lift my hips up and turn them. So I'm stacking my hips over my hips and bending my legs. So my shoulders are still on the ground, and I'm getting this transverse movement through my spine, just rinsing out the spine, working this low IT band and lower lumbar. Now, Beth, what if my leg is here and I can't get it over here? Not a problem. Pillow, yoga block, whatever you need to bring earth up to you. So you may need to start here with a yoga block that just gives you stability so that you can start to work your mobility this way. Get that nice stretch in the lumbar. So this would be your beginning. Now, if you wanted to work your cervical spine, what you would do is gently turn your head to the opposite hand that your knee is facing. So my knees are facing towards my right hand. So I'm going to turn my face towards my left hand and gently stretch out my neck. You want to be super, super gentle with your neck. Not flinging it around. We're just getting that nice range of motion. And then you'll hold that for about 30 seconds. I just don't want to look away from you while I'm teaching you. Then you may be able to get your hips all the way around with your arms on the ground in your full simple supine twist. And you would just hold this. And again, you could work the cervical spine by looking to the opposite hand. And just breathe in and out. Remember, we're not holding our breath. We're breathing in and out. You can breathe in and out through your nose like you were doing yoga. This is a great yin pose, a nice yoga stretch. Or you can breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Then you would restack your hips and then stack them and go to the other side. Again, you might need a block under your leg or a pillow just to bring earth up to you. Notice that both of my shoulders are on the mat. And you could work to get it next to each other and breathe in and out. Then I want to restack my hips. Again, You can take a nice stretch, leave your low back on the ground, rock side to side, do a happy baby, or do one side at a time called stirrup pose, and then switch and stretch it that way. You can do that. Then we're going to do a full supine twist. If you're not used to doing supine twist, start with the simple supine with your bent knees. A supine twist lengthens out. I'm going to stack my hip. I want to keep my shoulders on the mat. Now what you could do, get my block to show you, is I could put a block down and put my foot on it, just so that I have some stability and I'm able to keep my shoulder down while I'm getting length, stretching out this lower lumbar, but also sciatic area, that sciatic nerve, and all the way down the IT band, the lateral portion of your knee, and all the way down through your ankle. So great stretch. You're also stretching your hip flexor. It's internal rotation here. I've got this nice transverse movement, this corkscrew going through my spine, giving that a nice stretch. And again, if you wanted to stretch your cervical spine, you would be looking to the opposite hand. Just feel like I'm being rude when I turn my face away from you. And then you're just holding this, breathing through it, working it all out. If you don't need the block, you would just be here. There's a little bit more length, more stretch. You want to keep softness in the knee joints so that you have oxygen coming through. My shoulder's still laying down on the ground. If it were to start to lift up, I would have to then make space, right? Bring it up. And you're just hanging out here. Then I'm going to stack my hips. Go to the other side. I'm going to lengthen long and lean, restack, and stack my leg. Now notice one side may be tighter than the other. That's normal. So just consider that they're not going to necessarily feel the same. They could just feel different on this side. So in order to keep my arms down, I may need to have a little bit more extension, maybe put a foot on a block, on a pillow. I'm okay doing this right now. And now I'm stretching out my cervical spine as well, and breathe through that. Then I'm going to restack my hips back into a neutral position. You might want to bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little hug. Rock and roll a little bit. Squeeze it out. And then we're going to sit up. We have one more back exercise that we're going to do. It lengthens and strengthens your spine and your low back. It also strengthens the core, the band that goes from your abs to your lower lumbar. It's called bird dog or 2-point bridge. You're going to do that in a prone position, in a tabletop actually, and it's also a balance exercise, so it does multiple things. We want to set it up with good alignment to start. So if you've watched my yoga videos, then you know tabletop and you know how to get into it with perfect alignment. I recommend that you drop in on those videos and do them and get good practice in this. But if you're new to the channel, set up your tabletop for your body. So you're going to take your two fists and put them right between your knees, and that's going to open up your hips for your body, because we're all different, but we're all wanting to do this exercise safely. I want my hips to drive over my knees. Hip flexors follow knees, follow ankles. My shoulders and my hips also need to square off to my mat. I want my shoulders and my elbows and my wrists to also be in alignment, and we want those nice soft joints. Apple under the chin, pull the pit of the belly in and up, roll the shoulders back. I'm going to look to the end of my mat. Remember, we're never tilting our head up. We want to keep that neutral spine. I'm going to take my left hand and place it by my left ear. Palm in like I'm going to shake your hand. Comes out long and lean, and I want to stretch it long and lean. Then I'm going to take the opposite foot, so my left hand's out, my right foot's going to come out. Pinky toe down to keep my hips squared off, and I'm going to push it out and then lift up. I'm going to then breathe. Now you can hold this for 30 seconds on one side, or you can count to 5 and switch sides. Don't hold your breath. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Pull everything in tight. Remember, we're not hanging out in positions. We're working them. And release. Now, if you need to, my suggestion is to then roll out your wrist flexors and extensors, dorsiplantar flex them. You may need to then release in the shoulder. We don't want to dump all our weight into our shoulder and into our wrist. We want to pull the core up so that our arms feel nice and light. I'm going to turn to the other way just so that you can see this other side. So now I'm going to place my left hand down, shoulder, elbow, wrist. My hip is in alignment with my knee. And my right hand comes up, apple under the chin, left foot comes out, pinky toe turns down, and I'm breathing. Release and do the same thing on that side. Now, if you've noticed, I took a toe stand in my tabletop. You can untuck your feet and press the tops of your feet down if you need to. I just like to stretch the bottoms of my feet out. But if you have any kind of osteoarthritis in your toes or in your feet and it doesn't feel comfortable, then don't do that. Untuck. So there you have it. We have done our good mornings, our horizontal deadlifts. Remember to keep that ab tight when you do those. We did planks. Planks, I suggest, are the best thing to do to strengthen and stretch that low back area. We did Supermans. We did and Sphinx. We did bridge, assisted bridge, pelvic tilts, and bridge. We also did the 2-point bridge, or what we call bird dog. And we did the simple supine twist and the extended supine twist. We also did at the very beginning that upper back, that up, down, forward, and back. And that's just going to give flexion and extension into the upper part of the body, taking the scapulae up and down, stretching out the spine and bringing it back. Pin your shoulder blades back together when you bring them back. It really helps to stretch that upper back. Also, you can do side body stretch just to open up your rib cage and your obliques. You can do some rinsing and twisting out, not just in supine twist, but you can do it in a seated twist. So I highly recommend that if you are having low back issues and or upper back issues and you need some great stretching, go into our videos. I've got playlists set up so you can go into office stretches and gentle yoga stretches and all kinds of yoga and stretches for the body, and that's really going to help you. If you need other types of therapies, you want to check on our rice, mice, and movement video and garner some knowledge from that. So I hope that this was helpful. Check out our knee knowledge, our happy hips. This is Back in Business
We will be doing some shoulders and some wrists and some ankles. And so stay tuned for that. Don't forget to hit the button, like, subscribe, and share. Hit the bell, ring it, and you'll be notified for all of our videos. Until next time, live your life 360 all the way around. That means whole body wellness. And we'll see you for the next video. Bye. So I want to provide you with 5 reasons why stretching and strengthening your back is beneficial. First of all, it reduces back pain. Back pain is a common problem that can be caused by a variety of factors, including weak or tight back muscles. And by strengthening and stretching your back muscles, you can alleviate pain, reduce discomfort, and prevent future problems. We want to have improved posture. Good posture is essential for reducing the strain on your back muscles and preventing pain and discomfort. You can improve your posture, reduce the risk of back problems, and feel more comfortable in your daily activities. You can enhance athletic performance. A strong, flexible back is essential for many sports and physical activities, including weightlifting, swimming, and yoga. By strengthening and stretching your back muscles, you can improve your athletic performance, reduce risk of injury, and feel more confident in your abilities. You can increase your flexibility. Tight back muscles can limit your range of motion by making it difficult to perform daily activities and physical activities. By stretching your back muscles regularly, you can increase your flexibility, reduce stiffness, and move more freely. This can improve your overall quality of life and make daily activities more comfortable and enjoyable. You can promote your overall health. Strengthening and stretching your back muscles can benefit your overall physical and mental well-being. By keeping your back muscles healthy and strong, you can improve your overall quality of life and feel more comfortable and confident in your daily activities. Those are just 5 reasons why strengthening and stretching your back is beneficial.